All right, now we're back with another video. So today, it's been about 2 months since we first unboxed the SaunaBox, and I wanted to revisit that and just let you guys know some of the pros and cons, a few of the things that I found over the last 2 months about what I like about the SaunaBox, maybe a few things that not so much, and maybe answer a few of your frequently asked questions, because there's a lot of people that have reached out to me, have asked some questions about the SaunaBox, if it's worth it, how hot does it get, things like that. So I want to address all those questions in this video today. Stay tuned. And before we go any further, I want to let you guys know that this is not a sponsored video, and all thoughts and opinions on the SaunaBox are my own. All right, so like I said, it's been 2 months since I first unpacked the SaunaBox, and I want to tell you guys just how it's kind of stood up over the last 2 months. Now, I have kept the SaunaBox out here on my outside deck. It's covered, but it has been exposed to some rain, some of the elements, a little bit of the sun in the morning, early afternoons. And so how was that held up so far? Actually pretty good. And one of the reasons why I say pretty good is because the SaunaBox is actually just made of like a polyester material and a frame it's fiberglass poles. Some people think it's plastic poles. They're fiberglass, and so they actually hold up fairly well. However, some of the fittings that keep it together, those are like a kind of a plastic, but there's really no wear so far. I don't see any kind of like sun damage. All the seams are really good. Haven't had any issues except for one, and that was actually the fitting for one of the poles. This is one of the plastic fittings, and it actually cracked, and that fitting was this one right here, which doesn't really surprise me because there's a lot of traffic that kind of goes in and out of here in this particular post. And it was really my fault because I was trying to move it and it cracked. I did find this replacement at Home Depot. It was about $1 for this PVC replacement. So that was an easy fix. Otherwise, all the rest of the joints and fittings and the poles overall, they've held up really well. The only bowing that you'll see is actually at these joints itself. However, once the tent is closed, I mean, it holds up great. So I don't see any kind of issues right there. Now, one of the other concerns that some people have had is about the zipper. They feel like when they're closing it that it's going to rip or tear. And although I do agree, I think the zipper probably should be a little bit more heavy duty. Zipping it up and closing it, I really haven't had any issues with it. I don't feel like the seams are busting or anything like that. Certainly when it was brand new, the frame going on the entire, or I should say the cloth going on the frame, it definitely was pretty tight, but I think over time it has loosened up a little bit, so it's been a lot easier to open and close. Continuing on about wear and tear, the only other thing that I've really seen is the floor mat right here. Yeah, it collects a lot of sweat, a lot of water, and so it's faded just a little bit right there. You do have to kind of wash it every time, or at least rinse it off, which is always a good idea. However, the rest of the tent, there's no signs of tear, there's no holes, there's nothing like that. Everything is really held up really great. And again, I'm keeping this outside on a deck. It's not direct exposure to the elements, but so far it's so good. So overall, as far as quality goes, I don't see any issues so far. It's been 2 months. I haven't been like gentle with it necessarily, but I haven't abused it either. So if you're concerned that it's going to fall apart, I think it'll last you a while. It does have a 2-year warranty on it if anything does come up. However, so far it's been pretty dang good. Now, since I first posted this video, I have had a lot of people that have reached out to me and asked me a lot of questions about the SaunaBox. And I want to go ahead and see if I can't answer a few of those questions before you go ahead and buy yours. Now, number one, this isn't necessarily a question, but it's something that a lot of commenters have to say out there.
Now, there are some people on the internet that will say that the SaunaBox is not even a sauna at all. Come in here. Let's go ahead and read the definition of what a sauna is.
Okay, so let's see here. A sauna is a small room used as a hot air or steam bath for cleaning and refreshing the body. Steam. All right, so with that out of the way, the number one question that I see from most people is how hot does the SaunaBox actually get? Now, the SaunaBox is advertised at 130 degrees, and I can tell you that that temperature, it gets close so far from what I've seen. Now, you have to understand that I keep my SaunaBox outside, and because of that, the outside ambient temperature it strongly influences how hot it actually gets inside. And although I don't feel a lot of draft coming in and out of it, because some people have asked that, it's just the fact that when it's 30, 40, 50 degrees outside, inside, it struggles a little bit more to actually get to that hotter temperature. I have definitely seen it go to about 120 degrees. And when it's very cold out, it'll drop down to about 110. It'll take a little bit longer to actually warm up. But for the most part, it definitely will make you sweat either way. If you're in here for 20 minutes, you're going to come out of here sweating. Your heart rate's going to be up, and you'll definitely feel the benefits of the sauna. Now, I want to dive a little bit further into that discussion because a lot of people are asking how hot does the SaunaBox get, because they're actually comparing it to a regular dry sauna, which can get to be anywhere from 160 plus degrees, and the SaunaBox only getting at 130. A lot of people will they'll just assume that it's not as good, and that's actually just false, because overall, humid temperatures and dry temperatures vary greatly, and they have different effects on the human body. So humans, we can actually tolerate dry heat much better than we can humid heat. So at 160 degrees, if it was that hot inside here, you would suffocate. And so we don't want that, of course, but that's just something that you have to understand, is that when you have a humid heat, it's very thick, it's very heavy, it's very taxing on the body, on the lungs. And so 130 degrees, even at 120, I mean, it definitely will cause you to perspire a lot. It definitely puts strain on the body. So that's just really a non-issue, and that's kind of a myth that I see a lot of people discussing on the internet. Now, the second most asked question that I see people asking is about the hygiene of the SaunaBox. Many people are worried that it's going to grow mold and mildew, and it's going to be gross inside and cause all sorts of respiratory issues, okay? And that could be true. However, I want to show you a few things about the SaunaBox that really kind of dispel that. Because the outside of the SaunaBox is like this material, this polyester material right here, a lot of people are concerned that it's actually going to absorb a lot of the moisture. But actually, if you guys come on inside, the inside is lined with a PVC type material. And so although it's not like waterproof, I notice that every time I use it, the water will actually bead up on the sides right here. So by simply using a microfiber towel afterwards, maybe a little bit of water and vinegar, and just wipe down the sides, I have had no issues with this actually collecting moisture. The second thing I wanted to point out was the fact that the zipper in the material, the cover of the SaunaBox, it actually opens up almost the entire way. Okay, so if you want to air this out afterwards, which you definitely should, by doing that, I have found that within an hour after using the SaunaBox outside, it's always dry. It's dry every single time. I don't see any kind of moisture buildup. Now, of course, I do take out the sweat mat down there and just make sure that that stays clean. But otherwise, it's not collecting a lot of mold and mildew. There's just really no chance for it, just simply because I'm opening it up, airing it out every single time, and it's not sitting there stagnant. Now, the third thing I want to address is how you can get the most out of the SaunaBox. All right, some people have mentioned that they don't feel like it gets hot enough inside, or that there's just not enough steam. And I want to show you guys a few things that you can do to actually get the most out of the SaunaBox. Now, the first thing I will say is to make sure that you preheat your little steam box here. Okay, if you allow it to go for about 10-15 minutes before you're going to hop in and allow the water to get nice and hot, it's going to pump out a lot more steam. The second thing that I have found, that if you take the lid off of the water collector inside of the tent, it actually will produce a little bit more steam, or so it seems to me. So that's something that I've been doing, and it just seems like there's a lot more steam inside the tent. The third thing would be that if you're used to actually sitting down in the chair inside the SaunaBox, just remember that heat rises. And so all that heat is going to be up here. So if you're always sitting down here, just remember the heat is up here. And so if you stand for a few minutes, you're definitely going to feel a lot more temperature difference there, and you're going to sweat a lot more simply by standing up in the SaunaBox. All right, guys, so I want to finish up this video. I hope you found some of this information to be helpful for you. After 2 months of having the SaunaBox, do I still feel like it's worth it? I would say absolutely, simply because I've noticed that I'm sleeping better at night. I noticed that I'm not quite as sore after workouts, and it's doing exactly what it's advertised to do. Now, the SaunaBox is $349. You can get 10% off with my code below. That is an affiliate link, so it would help the channel. But if you have any other questions, please leave a comment below, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.